What if the key to happiness is not being liked, approved of, or understood by everyone? What if the constant pressure to please others is the very thing preventing you from living freely? And what if true confidence requires the courage to be disliked? These are the challenging ideas explored in The Courage to be Disliked, a book based on Adlerian psychology that confronts many of the assumptions we hold about happiness, relationships, and personal freedom. The book is written as a dialogue between a philosopher and a young man who feels trapped by anxiety, resentment, and the expectations of others. Through their conversation, the philosopher introduces a radical idea. You are not defined by your past. You are not controlled by trauma. You are not limited by other people's opinions. You are free the moment you choose to live according to your values instead of seeking approval. One of the most powerful teachings in the book is the idea that all problems are interpersonal relationship problems. Much of our stress comes from how we relate to others, how we compare ourselves, and how we seek validation. We want to be admired, praised, and accepted. But this desire comes at a cost. When your happiness depends on others, you surrender control over your life. The Courage to be Disliked argues that trauma does not determine behavior. Instead of asking why something happened in the past, Adlerian psychology asks what purpose a behavior serves in the present. This is called teleology. People do not act the way they do because of what happened to them. They act that way because it helps them achieve a goal, even if that goal is unconscious. Anxiety, anger, and avoidance often exist because they protect us from responsibility or change. This idea is unsettling because it removes excuses. If your behavior serves a purpose, then change is possible. You are not broken. You are choosing a strategy, even if it is a painful one. Once you understand the purpose behind your actions, you gain the power to choose differently. Freedom begins with responsibility. Another central concept in the book is separation of tasks. This principle teaches us to distinguish between what is our responsibility and what belongs to others. Your task is to live according to your values and act with integrity. Other people's reactions, opinions, and judgments are their tasks. When you try to control how others feel about you, you cross into their territory. This leads to anxiety and exhaustion. The philosopher explains that many people live in constant fear of being disliked. They shape their behavior to avoid conflict and rejection. But a life lived to please others is not your life. It is a performance. The moment you choose to live authentically, some people will dislike you. That is unavoidable. The courage to be disliked is the courage to live freely. The book challenges the idea of superiority and inferiority. People often compare themselves to others, creating feelings of inferiority or superiority. Adlerian psychology rejects comparison entirely. There is no hierarchy of value. The only comparison that matters is between who you are today and who you were yesterday. Growth is personal, not competitive. Another powerful lesson is the rejection of praise and reward as motivators. The book argues that praise creates dependency. When we seek praise, we give others power over our self-worth. Instead of praise, Adlerian psychology emphasizes encouragement. Encouragement recognizes effort and contribution without creating hierarchy. It supports autonomy rather than dependence. The book also explores the idea of community feeling. True happiness comes from a sense of belonging and contribution, not from recognition or status. Humans are social beings. We find meaning when we feel useful to others. But usefulness does not require approval. You can contribute even if you are disliked. Contribution is about action, not validation. The courage to be disliked teaches that anger is often a tool. People use anger to control others or avoid vulnerability. Anger creates distance. It intimidates. It shifts responsibility. By recognizing anger as a choice rather than an uncontrollable reaction, we regain power. You can choose how to respond, even in difficult situations. Another key idea is living in the present. Many people are trapped by regrets about the past or anxieties about the future. Adlerian psychology teaches that life is lived in the present moment. The past does not dictate your next choice. You are free now. The question is not what happened to you, but what you will do next. The book also challenges the belief that happiness requires constant success. Happiness comes from acceptance and courage, not achievement. You do not need to prove your worth. You already have value. This realization frees you from endless striving and comparison. The philosopher explains that choosing happiness requires courage. It requires letting go of excuses, abandoning victimhood, and accepting uncertainty. Happiness is not passive. It is an active choice. You choose it by living authentically, contributing meaningfully, and accepting the risk of disapproval. The courage to be disliked also addresses parenting, leadership, and education. It argues that controlling others through rewards and punishments undermines independence. True leadership empowers others to think and act for themselves. Respect is built through trust, not authority. A recurring theme in the book is that freedom and loneliness are connected. When you stop seeking approval, you may feel isolated at first, but this loneliness is temporary. It is the price of independence. Over time, authentic connections replace superficial ones. Relationships become honest instead of transactional. The book emphasizes that being disliked does not mean being selfish or cruel. It means accepting that not everyone will agree with or approve of your choices. You can be kind, respectful, and compassionate without sacrificing your values. Courage and kindness can coexist. The ultimate message of the courage to be disliked is deeply empowering. You are free. Free from your past, free from comparison, free from approval, free to choose how you live. The only thing required is courage. The courage to be honest. The courage to take responsibility. The courage to be disliked. The big takeaway from this book is clear. Happiness is not found by pleasing others. Happiness is found by living according to your principles and contributing to the world in your own way. When you stop living for approval, you start living authentically. So what idea from the courage to be disliked resonates most with you? The separation of tasks? The rejection of praise and comparison? The idea that trauma does not define you? Or the courage to live freely despite disapproval? Share your thoughts in the comments, and if you enjoyed this summary, like this video, subscribe to 10-Minute Books, and tap the bell so you never miss our weekly deep dives into life-changing books. Remember, freedom begins the moment you stop asking for permission to be yourself.